What affects male fertility? If you haven't thought about it, I think it's about time you've begun. In this video, we'll cover this and more about how nutrition can play a role in supporting male fertility and how men can support the women in their lives during their pregnancy. Well, hello everyone. My name is Marquita Lewis. I'm a registered dietitian, and today I want to talk with all of you about partner nutrition. So, looking at paternal nutrition in preconception, but then also how male partners can help support women during their pregnancy. So I want to start off about a conversation concerning male infertility, mostly because often whenever you're having conversations about fertility, many women think that it's only on them, the reason why they may or may not be fertile, able to conceive, but it's actually a partnership. So currently about 15% of couples globally experience infertility. And out of that for infertility rate, men are found to be solely responsible for 20 to 30% of infertility cases, and they contribute to 50% of cases overall. There has been studies showing that sperm counts, as well as other indicators of sperm health, have gone down since the 1980s. And there are a few reasons why that's been happening. So, a few major factors for male infertility include nutrient deficiencies, smoking, alcohol consumption, getting exposed to different diseases and infections, stress and depression, genetics, chronic diseases such as diabetes, thyroid disorders, and adrenal disorders. And there have been some studies showing there could be a relationship between obesity and male infertility, but the research is still a little bit inconsistent on that. But if you notice, several of the factors for male infertility that I mentioned are directly related to nutrition. Nutrient deficiencies, consuming alcohol, chronic diseases, which we know are affected by how we eat and our lifestyles, and then, possible weight management issues. And so, when we were looking more into the nutrient deficiencies kind of factors, listen and you might notice some familiar nutrients come up. So, some things that support male fertility: intake of omega 3s, folate intake, zinc, vitamin D, CoQ10, selenium, and then different antioxidants like your vitamin C or some of the polyphenols and flavonoids, which are antioxidants that are found in various fruits and vegetables that give additional health benefits. Now, if you listen to this list, there are many things for male fertility that are the same things for female fertility. And so that's something to consider. So when women are, improving their diet, so to support their health as well as the health of their growing fetus, men, as they're preparing for their partners to get pregnant, they have to be concerned about the same nutrients. And so, of course, we don't eat nutrients, we eat food. And so we really want to think about how we eat in terms of foods and general dietary patterns instead of thinking that a single multivitamin is going to magic bullet all of our problems. So the dietary guidelines for Americans, they do give general information. So of course, focusing on fruits, vegetables, getting regular servings of fish and seafood in your diet, and focusing on whole grains are going to be important. If you want more specifics about maybe exactly how many cups of fruits and vegetables or how many ounces of fish to eat, going to choosemyplate.gov. My Plate is a great resource to find out information on how to um, build your plates and, get that really balanced diet. All right, so some things that can negatively impact male fertility can include excessive red meat or processed meat intake. So if you are regularly eating things like steak or sausage, bacon, or some of the other types of deli meats out there, you may want to start being more conscious about how much you're eating because too much may negatively impact your fertility. Also, you want to be mindful of your dairy intake. So, while the dietary guidelines for Americans recommend up to 3 cups of milk or some other typical dairy product like yogurt or cheese, you want to make sure you're limiting it to 3 servings per day. Now, you can also do dairy alternatives, so your plant-based dairy like soy milk, almond milk, other types of milks that are fortified with enough calcium and vitamin D so that it is still giving you the nutrients that you need. But just making sure that you're sticking to those 3 servings, 3 cup equivalents per day. And then also, there is one study that showed that there may be a negative relationship between soy intake as well in male fertility, but there was only one study, so we can't make any definitive recommendations either way of if it's best to remove soy or keep your soy intake at where it currently is. Some other things to be mindful for men to support their fertility is to limit their added sugar intake. So currently on food labels, you'll be able to see whether a food has added sugars to it. So you want it to be, if you're a person to track your calories, fewer than 10% of your daily calorie intake. But even if you don't track your calories, just keep an eye on that number and try to limit how many added sugars you get in your diet from things like sodas and other beverages, sweets and desserts. There's a lot of places where added sugar can show up. And also, you want to limit your refined carbohydrates, or what people would say are like white rice, white bread, things that aren't whole wheat or made with whole grains. And then other things to consider for your fertility is limiting the amount of foods you have that are high in saturated fat, as well as certain types of meats, baked goods, fried foods tend to be high in saturated fat. And you also want to monitor your alcohol intake. Current guidelines say that men should have only up to 2 glasses of an alcohol equivalent, so 12 ounces of beer, 1.5 ounces of spirits, or 5 ounces of a standard wine. So keep it to less than 2 per day, but there might even be benefits for reducing your alcohol intake even further. So overall, you'd really want to focus on dietary patterns that include a variety of foods, especially those fruits, vegetables, fish, and whole grains. So things like the Mediterranean diet, Nordic diet, various plant-based diets, or even just plant-forward diets where you're really trying to increase the amount of fruits and vegetables in your diet all of those can be beneficial to fertility. All right. And now that we've covered male fertility, I just want to take a minute or two to talk about how partners can help support the pregnant mothers and people in their lives. So, some things that will make life easier: help remind them about taking their vitamins and supplements that they need prior to pregnancy and during pregnancy and even after pregnancy. Um, Make sure that you're involved. Start learning a little bit about what their needs are during pregnancy. Be present at doctor's appointments and ask questions. If your partner has access to a registered dietitian during their pregnancy, it can help with scheduling appointments, asking questions about what you can do to help out. Um, Pregnancy can be very energy draining. So if you can cook meals, or even if you're not the best chef, you can find easier ways to eat healthy meals through maybe meal prep or healthy meal delivery or things like that. And then also another thing is stress management. So your stress and your partner's stress, there's research that shows that being stressed out actually increases our body's use of vitamins and minerals. And so if you're trying to keep as much nutrition in your body as possible, you do want to work on managing that stress. And then, if you are having challenges with making dietary changes, or you're concerned about maybe, I don't know what to do, I feel like I might be over my head. Just make sure, remember that eating healthy doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice everything. Um, be open to trying new things. Incremental changes are a really great way to, make sustainable health changes. And then also just be com open with your communication. Hold each other accountable, be equally involved. Really always have that conversation out there so that neither one of you feel isolated or in this alone. And, pregnancy should be a bonding experience for the two of you, even before the baby is born. So setting that foundation right now is super important. And think about it, there's so many long-term benefits to doing this. So you get to support your partner during their pregnancy. If your partner is healthy, that can really translate into health benefits for your child as they grow and develop, all the way through adulthood. When you're taking care of yourself, you're going to experience health benefits, not only for yourself, but for your family. And then also, you just have this lifelong knowledge about health behaviors that can really make an impact on your quality of life overall. So, just some things to think about. Focus on a varied diet with whole foods, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and getting lean protein, and that can make a world of difference.